You think you're confused because you care too much, but you're confused because he keeps changing the rules on you. One week, he's warm. He's texting first. He's calling you baby, like it slipped out. Then, out of nowhere, he's a stranger with your number saved. And the misread moment is always the same. It's the moment he gives you just enough closeness to make you feel chosen, and then takes it back like it never happened. Not with a fight, not with a breakup, just with a shift, a shorter reply, a longer gap. Plans that stay, maybe. That one message that used to come at night now comes the next afternoon, dry and casual, like you're just someone he knows. And because nothing bad happened, you don't know what to call it. So you start doing the thing most women do. You start treating confusion like it's a puzzle you can solve. You replay the last good moment like it holds the answer. It might have been a night where he was different. He looked at you longer, held you closer, said something real. You could feel him soften. You could feel him there. Maybe you went home and your body felt calm for the first time in weeks. Like, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And you let yourself believe, just a little, that the back and forth was finally over. Then the next day comes. You wake up, check your phone. Nothing. You tell yourself, he's busy. You wait an hour, then 2. You try to act normal, but you're not normal. Because the silence feels louder after closeness. And here's the trap. That warm version of him becomes the standard in your head. So every cold moment after that feels like something is wrong. Not with him, with you. So you start editing yourself. You rewrite your texts 3 times so you don't sound needy. You hold back questions you have every right to ask. You pretend you're fine with, "We'll see." You smile when he finally replies because you don't want to punish him with your honesty. And he learns something in that moment. He learns he doesn't have to give you clarity to keep you close. He just has to give you relief once in a while. That's why the thumbnail is true. Confusion was the point. Because when you're guessing, you're still engaged. When you're guessing, you're still hoping. When you're guessing, you're still available. And the misread is thinking the confusion is accidental, like he's just stressed, like he's just scared, like he just needs time. Sometimes a man isn't figuring it out. Sometimes he's keeping the door cracked on purpose, not to walk through, just to make sure you don't fully close it either. And the question that starts everything is simple. If he really wanted you, why does it always feel like you're the one trying to hold the connection together? And that's the part that messes with you most. Because it wasn't all bad. If he was cold the whole time, you'd detach. If he was clear the whole time, you'd relax. But he keeps giving you these clean, bright moments that feel real. And you treat those moments like evidence. You tell yourself, he wouldn't say that if he didn't mean it. He wouldn't hold me like that if he didn't feel something. He wouldn't come back if he didn't care. So you start building a story. Not a fantasy story. A reasonable one. Because it's not like you imagined everything. He really did text you good morning for a few days. He really did ask about your life. He really did lean in and act protective when you were out somewhere. He really did get jealous, just enough to show you it mattered. And when a woman's been starving for consistency, just enough feels like a meal. So you start translating scraps into commitment. He disappears for 2 days, then shows up with a sweet message. And instead of thinking, this is unstable, you think, maybe he missed me. Maybe he needed space and came back. Maybe he's learning. You start treating his return like progress. And the biggest misread is what you do with the good version of him. You start believing that's the real him, the late-night him, the soft him, the honest him, the "I've never felt like this before" him, the him that sounds like he's finally dropping his guard. So when he pulls back, you don't think, "That was a preview." You think, "Something happened." And then you search for what you did. Maybe you sent one extra text. Maybe you asked where this is going. Maybe you brought up the change in how he was acting. Maybe you said calmly, "Hey, you feel different." And he responded like you were the problem for noticing. "Why are you overthinking?" "I've just been busy." "Nothing's wrong." You're making it a thing. That line, "you're making it a thing," is deadly. Because it makes you doubt your own eyes. Now you're not just trying to understand him, you're trying to prove you're not too much. So you shrink. You stop asking for clarity. You stop naming what you feel. You start doing that quiet, humiliating math in your head. If I stay easy, he'll stay close. If I don't pressure him, he'll choose me. If I act like I'm fine, he'll come back faster. And you don't realize what you're doing. You're trying to earn a stable version of a man who benefits from being unstable. Because while you're interpreting his mixed behavior as emotional depth, he's experiencing it as freedom. Freedom to come and go. Freedom to take your softness without carrying responsibility. Freedom to keep you emotionally invested without ever fully showing his hand. And the reason this hurts so much is because your interpretation wasn't crazy. It was human. You thought those warm moments meant the relationship was growing. But what if those warm moments weren't signs of growth? What if they were just the part that kept you from walking away? And once you've built that meaning in your head, his pullback doesn't just feel confusing. It feels personal. Because you're not reacting to a random guy anymore. You're reacting to the version of him that made you exhale. The version that felt safe for 5 minutes. So let me say it plainly. When a man keeps you guessing, it's usually not because he's so deep. It's because the guessing is doing a job for him. Here's what was really happening. A lot of men know how to create closeness. They know how to say the right thing. They know how to show up warmly when it benefits them. But staying consistent after closeness, that requires a different kind of man. Because consistency costs him something. It costs him options. It costs him control. It costs him the ability to disappear without consequences. And the moment you start feeling secure, you also start expecting basic things. Clear plans, steady contact, follow-through, honesty. That's pressure to a man who doesn't want responsibility. So he does something smarter than leaving. He keeps you in a state where you can't demand anything, not because you're weak, because you're uncertain. And uncertainty makes a woman negotiate with herself. You lower your standards without admitting you're lowering them. You accept busy as a lifestyle. You accept "we'll see" as a plan. You accept the bare minimum as long as it comes with warmth sometimes. That's why the pattern is always the same. He gives you a high moment, then he goes quiet. A weekend where he's all over you. He's affectionate in public. He's texting you during the day. He's saying things that sound like the start of something real. Then Monday hits, and it's like he got his fill. Now, you're the one staring at your phone, wondering if you imagined it. You send a light text, something safe. "Hope your day's good." He waits, then replies hours later with one word. Or a reaction. Or nothing. And you feel your stomach drop, even though you're trying to stay cool. That hot and cold isn't random. It's a way to keep you unsure and available. Because when he's warm again after being cold, you feel relief. And relief feels like love when you've been anxious for days. So you reward him for returning. You soften. You stop bringing up what hurt you. You act like you're just happy he's back. And he learns he can reset the whole situation without ever fixing anything. Now, sometimes it's not even malicious. Sometimes he actually likes you. But liking you isn't the same as choosing you. He likes access. He likes being wanted. He likes the comfort of you. He likes the girlfriend benefits without the boyfriend weight. So he gives you intimacy in bursts and distance in between. Because bursts keep you hooked. Distance keeps him free. And here's a hard truth that clears the fog. If a man wanted you in a real way, he would not keep creating conditions where you feel unstable. He would protect the bond, not test how little he can do and still keep you. When confusion repeats, it's not something you should keep explaining away. Whether he means to do it or not, you're still the one paying for it. And the moment you start asking for normal consistency, he pulls back. Because that's the moment you become harder to manage. So now the real question becomes even sharper. If his warmth only shows up when he feels you slipping away, was he ever building something with you? Or was he managing you? And after a while, you don't even feel like yourself anymore. Because you're not just dealing with a man. You're dealing with the version of you that got created by his inconsistency. At first, you think you're just being patient. You think you're being mature. You think you're not trying to control anything. But what's really happening is, your whole emotional life starts orbiting his randomness. You don't wake up and think, "What do I want today?" You wake up and check your phone. Not because you're obsessed, because your body remembers what it feels like when he's warm. And it also remembers what it feels like when he goes quiet. So you start living in a quiet state of suspense. And it shows up in small moments that don't look dramatic from the outside. You're at work, and you reread the last messages just to see if you missed something. You start noticing the timestamps. You start noticing the punctuation. A period feels cold. No emoji feels like a bad sign. You're with your friends, and you're laughing, but part of you is watching your screen. Not even for a message. For proof you still exist to him. And when he finally texts, you get that rush of relief. And then you hate yourself for how fast your mood changed. That's one of the worst parts. He can ruin your day without even speaking to you. And he can fix it with one sentence. Now your confidence isn't based on your life. It's based on whether he's currently in the good phase. And the longer this goes, the more it messes with your self-trust. Because you start making choices that don't match your standards. You accept half plans. Maybe later. I'll let you know. You keep your schedule open just in case. You don't call him out when he flakes. You tell yourself, I don't want to push him away. But deep down, you know, you're afraid that asking for normal effort will cost you access. So you become careful. Careful with your tone. Careful with your timing. Careful with how much you say. You start trying to act unbothered. Like you don't need anything. Like you're easy to keep around. But it's exhausting because it's not real. And here's the emotional consequence no one talks about. When a man keeps you guessing long enough, you stop feeling like a woman being loved, and you start feeling like a woman trying to be picked. That's the shift. You're not in a relationship. You're in an audition. And in auditions, you don't relax. You perform. You measure your words. You swallow your feelings. You blame yourself for reacting to disrespect. So even when he's sweet again, you don't fully enjoy it, because a part of you is already bracing for the drop. You're lying next to him, and you're thinking, please don't change tomorrow. You're smiling in the moment, and still feeling nervous underneath it. That's what this pattern does. It doesn't just confuse you about him. It confuses you about what love is supposed to feel like. You start confusing anxiety with chemistry. You start confusing relief with intimacy. You start calling inconsistency complicated instead of what it really is. And the saddest part? You get so used to guessing that steady love starts to feel boring. Not because it is, but because you got used to chasing the shift. So now you're not just asking, why is he like this? You're asking something even heavier. How did I become someone who thinks this is what I deserve? And that question right there is where things finally get honest. Because the truth is, you didn't become weak. You became trained to wait, trained to overthink, trained to treat scraps like signs, trained to believe that if you just stay soft enough, patient enough, low maintenance enough, he'll turn into the man he was for those few good moments. But here's the real truth. If confusion is the constant, love is not the reason. Love doesn't need you to guess. Love doesn't make clarity feel impossible. Love doesn't make you earn basic decency by acting unbothered. A man who truly wants you doesn't make you feel like you're always one wrong sentence away from losing him. He makes things clearer over time, not foggier. And this is where you stop romanticizing his mixed signals. Because mixed signals aren't a love language. They're a way to keep access without commitment. He may not be sitting there thinking, how can I mess with her? But he is choosing the setup that benefits him. You stay available, and he stays free. That's the part that matters. So what do you do with this? You stop arguing with the pattern. You stop treating his warm moments like a promise. They're not a promise. They're a moment. And a moment can feel real without being sustainable. That's how you protect your dignity without needing revenge, speeches, or closure. You start judging him by the part that repeats, not the speech, not the apology, not the late-night softness, the repeat. Does he show up the same in the daylight? Does he follow through without being chased? Does he make plans like he actually expects to see you? Does he communicate in a way that doesn't leave you hanging? Because if the answer is no, then the label doesn't matter. Call it fear, call it immaturity, call it being busy, call it whatever makes it easier to swallow. The result is the same. You're left holding the emotional weight alone. And listen, this is the line most women don't draw sharply enough. A man can like you and still not be good for you. A man can miss you and still not choose you. A man can mean it in the moment and still not be capable of staying. So the real truth isn't just that he wasn't consistent. It's that you were trying to build a home in a place that kept proving it was temporary. And once you see that, you don't have to hate him. You don't have to diagnose him. You don't have to convince him. You just stop cooperating with confusion. Because the second you stop playing detective, the spell breaks. You stop checking your phone like it's a verdict. You stop rewriting your texts like you're negotiating your worth. You stop making space for someone who only shows up when it suits him. And here's what I want you to hold on to, calmly and clearly. If he keeps you guessing, the guessing is the relationship. And you deserve more than a relationship built on suspense. You deserve the kind of love that doesn't make you smaller to keep it.